Hi everybody, welcome back to School of Scarlet. Today I have another message, another important topic to share with you. So today's message is a bit of a warning. It's a bit of a cautionary tale of getting something out of your home that you might actually have in your home right now. So this came about because my neighbor was cleaning out, all of the Halloween stuff, putting it all away and getting ready for Christmas and all that sort of stuff. But as she was cleaning out for Halloween, getting everything out of her home, she came across something in her child's bedroom. And she didn't know what this was, so she showed it to me and I knew what it was. And I intimately knew what it was. I also have experiences with this, and I think that this came into her home unknowingly, and it can come into your home unknowingly as well. But most likely, you have allowed this into your home out of your own free will at some point or another, or you might currently be bound by this, which is why I'm sharing this video here today. So, when she was cleaning out all the Halloween stuff from her home, she came across like a book set that her son had gotten as a gift, it seems like, from someone. And so she didn't know what it was exactly. She showed it to me, and what it was something really innocent. As a matter of fact, it came from Five Below. And if you don't know what Five Below is, it's one of these stores, kind of like a dollar store. And it's very popular, very normal store. It's not like a new age store. It's not like a spiritual store, nothing like that. But I know that for myself, when I've walked into this store most recently, I have seen these items, specifically this one that she was showing me. They have all kinds of things there. So I looked at it, and it was a book on tarot. And so if you don't know what tarot are, they are cards, and they are used as a divination tool to tell your future, to tell you or give you messages on things. They're used for divination. And so this may have gotten to him because it was Halloween related. And so I was looking at it, and he hadn't really opened it. He hadn't really messed with it at all. But there were these tarot cards. And I can tell you that when I've been into Five Below recently, I not only have seen these tarot cards, but their book section is essentially mostly like new age type stuff, astrology, spiritual type content, which is kind of unusual for a dollar store, right? But that's what they have there. And so it wouldn't be something strange for someone to pick that up, and especially around Halloween time, to gift it to someone. So anyhow, I told her what it was, and she didn't want it in her home, so she threw it away. And this really triggered a memory for me of a time, and I think I recently shared it in a video here, where I had used several divination tools to connect with the afterlife. I had seen what I thought was a ghost in my home, and, having watched a lot of ghost adventures, all those sorts of things, I thought I had to get a pendulum and begin to communicate with the spirit to help it to go cross over. Not knowing what that was about at the time. And so at that time, you couldn't just go to Five Below. I went to a specific store that sold this pendulum, which is just a little crystal or something that hangs on a string. And I began to communicate with this so-called ghost. And so after returning to that store, a couple of times, I found some cards, which I am someone who loves angels. I've actually always collected angel type stuff since I was a child. I've also collected things that were mermaid since I was a child. So I saw these beautiful mermaid cards and angel cards. And this was like in 2008. And at that time, there were the Doreen Virtue cards, and they were actually very similar to these tarot cards. And from what I understand, they can be used that way. Of course, I didn't use them that way. I used them more because they were beautiful and they had like quotes and things on them, but essentially they were tarot cards. At some point, I had some experiences that were pretty scary. Some of the scariest things that have happened to me before, and to the point that I was kind of called to throw all of this stuff away immediately, which is what I did. And when I threw these cards away, when I got rid of these things in my home, all of the energy shifted in my home. Everything shifted in my home. My connection with God became very, very clear. It became a clear channel to God, and I was connected once again to peace, to love, to feeling like I belonged, where before I was feeling very disconnected, very scared, feeling like I had to do this alone. So what this message is about is that things like tarot cards or any of the divination tools that could be out there, any of these items, they really lead us to this kind of self-driven spirituality where we think that we have to figure it out, where we think that we have to do everything to fix the things in our life. And you see, God already is here for you. All you have to do is trust. All you'd have to do is have faith to be in connection with God that is right here with you now. You're not separate from God. God isn't rejecting you. God isn't forsaking you. God is always with you no matter what is going on in your life. And we oftentimes forget this, and we go down these rabbit holes, and we might end up, in a situation where we're using tarot cards to try to figure out the future, to try to figure out what's happening in our lives, to try to figure out the next step. And we won't always know the next step when we walk with God, because God doesn't reveal everything to us at once. We wouldn't be able to really handle that. So God really offers us something that we already want: the love, the peace, the comfort, when we abide in that with Him. But when we separate ourselves, most of the times we don't know that we're doing that. But when we separate ourselves and we think we're going to know something more if we get those tarot cards, we're going to fix our life if we do this thing or that thing. When we go outside of trusting God and we think that we can kind of have this self-driven spirituality where we do it, we really lose that connection to what it is that we already wanted. And this really reminds me of the story of Adam and Eve. And so Adam and Eve had it good. They had everything they wanted in the Garden of Eden. And, they had peace, they had comfort, they had love, they had anything they wanted in there. But they were warned against staying away from the tree with the fruit of knowledge of evil, of good and evil. And you see, this really symbolizes that, knowing this, going to this tree is not just about the fruit. It's not just about disobedience. It's about that we don't need to go into things that we think are going to give us more knowledge, more information about things than we already have. We can go down that rabbit hole. And if you've been down that rabbit hole, comment down below. These tarot cards, these divination tools, whatever they might be for you, there's so many, do feel and offer you powers. They're not void of that. And that's because they are coming from something that is powering that. And in that case, you do experience sort of this knowing, this information, and it can be very, very addicting. But you see, at the end of the day, what you're really seeking is already here with you now. You didn't need to go eat that apple. You didn't need to know more knowledge. You didn't need to go down that route at all. Everything that you had was already here, promised by God. You see, God already knows you. God already knows all of you. God already knows what you need. God already knows what the next step should be. All you simply have to do is trust. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to use tools to tell the future or to figure out the future. God knows it, and He's containing it, and He's giving you that next step as you trust, as you have faith. It's already happening. It's not that it's not happening. It's happening for you already. God's already working in your life. So you don't have to get into confusion. Like, I kind of see it as confusion. So allowing all of these things into your home, whether they're tarot cards, whether they're, I don't know, some kind of psychic person in your house, or, something that allows you to feel like you're knowing more about something than you should know or whatever, isn't going to give you peace. It's actually going to give you confusion. So if you find yourself today in this loop, and I know a lot of people have gotten into this loop of either going to psychics, doing tarot readings on yourself, listening to the multitude of tarot readings that are out there on YouTube, on TikTok, on all the social media, they are all over the place. If you have gotten into that kind of cycle of doing that, this is your sign. This is your call to step out of it. Step out of it and step into love with God. Step into a trusting relationship with God that is already here with you. You see, you don't need a middleman. You don't need the cards. You don't need a crystal. You don't need permission from anyone to have a relationship with God. You can already do that right here and now. Your relationship with God, with Spirit, with Jesus is personal. It's direct, and you don't have to go hiding around. You don't have to seek out the latest divination tools. You don't have to go seeking out the best psychics or any of that stuff. You have a direct line connection to God. So what comes to mind is, you know, a cookie jar at the parents' house, or you can think your grandparents' house if you like. God is like your heavenly parent, your father. And, you know, when you go over to your parents' house, I know when I go over to my parents' house, let's say they have a jar of cookies or they have some cookies somewhere. And when I walk into their house and I see these delicious homemade cookies, I can go have these cookies. I can go directly to the cookies and eat them. I don't have to sneak around. I don't have to stay outside the house looking through the window and sneak one. I don't have to act that way because my parents already want that for me. They're already giving me that. I have direct and free access to those things. And so when you have a direct connection to God, whatever it is that you need and want is already there. You have a direct connection to it. You don't have to sneak around and, you know, talk to a psychic about it or create some magical spell, some ritual to get the love of your life, to figure out how to get money or whatever. You don't have to do any of those things. You simply have to connect to God and abide in that love, and ask and you shall receive directly to God. You don't have to create some crazy ritual. This is a direct connection that you have. And so this whole message is to truly bring you back into your power. I won't go into how dark it can get if you really dabble and continue to dabble in these things. There's a multitude of videos out there where people do share these experiences. And I can tell you that these are real. I'm not going to go into that. This isn't about scaring you. This is about empowering you to go directly to God, to have a direct relationship with God, Jesus Christ, right now. And so if you're feeling like this is resonating with you, like this is connecting with you, I invite you now to go into your heart, to access God, Jesus Christ, in your heart right now and have a direct connection and have a direct relationship with Him right now. You don't have to sneak around. You are welcome home, and it doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter if you have these cards, if you have these divination tools. God is right here at all times with you, and He's saying you belong. You belong to me, and I love you. I know who you are. I know everything that you want, and I know the next step. You simply have to trust. So just like Adam and Eve in the story of Adam and Eve in the garden, they had everything they wanted. But they were so tempted to know more, to find out more, to see what that was like. But everything was already there. And so I want you to know that everything is already here. You don't have to be seeking out or sneaking around trying to find out more knowledge. There's no more knowledge to know. It's all right here with you. So I hope that this message resonated with you. If it did, leave me a like down below. That way I know that this message resonated. And let me know in the comment section what you think. Whether you agree or disagree with me, comment down below. I would love to start a conversation. I would love to know your thoughts. So this message really came about when my friend was cleaning out her son's room. And so I also want to add in as a cautionary tale that maybe you are someone that knows that you don't need this stuff in your home and you've already thrown it all away. You've already gotten rid of it, but you may have a child in your home, or you may have another adult that lives in your home and they could bring it in. So just be aware that even when we don't want certain things in our home, they can come in other ways. So it's just an interesting kind of thing that happened, and it really brought to light, you know, this conversation and this message for us to talk about here today. So I hope that this message found you well. I will catch you on our next video. I love you all.